Robert Earl Hayden was born in Detroit in 1913. His birth name was Asa Bundy Sheffy. He was actually named after his first father. However, when Hayden was around 2, his first father and his first mother, Asa and Ruth Sheffy, placed him in the parental care of William and Sue Ellen Hayden. The Haydens became his parents. They renamed him Robert Earl Hayden, and he maintained a relationship with his first parents for quite some time. It wasn't until he was around 40 that he would find out, quite by accident, that his parents, the Haydens, had never completed the adoption paperwork or the name change paperwork. And I just wanted to say here that instead of thinking about this as some kind of flawed bureaucratic process on the part of the Haydens, we really have an opportunity here to think about the way that this is a testament to the ways in which Black kinship relation often exists in excess of the state and state intervention and mediation. And that this is an adoption story really that is not unique to the Haydens. Maybe the details are unique, but it fits into a certain kind of legacy of Black care and Black caretaking that has always been part of Black kinship making in the wake of slavery. From 1932 to 1936, Hayden attended Detroit City College, later known as Wayne State University. He worked for the Federal Writers Project. The purpose of the project was to collect stories of American life. Notably, among these interviews are firsthand accounts of life under the brutal conditions of slavery in the United States. In this work, Hayden was in the company of other writers like Claude McKay, Richard Wright, Zora Neale Hurston, Margaret Walker, all key figures in the Black arts movement. In 1941, Hayden enrolled at the University of Michigan. It was during this time that Hayden met the poet W.H. Auden. This meeting and subsequent engagements with Auden really coincides with Hayden's own increasing distance from particular kinds of Black nationalism. By the time Hayden moves to Nashville to teach at Fisk University, he has already left the Black Baptist religious tradition of his upbringing, and he has started to practice the Baha'i faith. He teaches at Fisk from 1946 to 1969. And what we know about that period of time is that the Black arts movement and the Black power movement of the 1960s and 70s, these political, artistic, and social movements that place a particular emphasis on the specificity of racial identity and calls for a particular kind of Black self-reliance and Black communal reliance, Black self-determination and Black communal determination were at the center of these movements. And Hayden finds himself somewhat at odds with the message of the movement. Hayden was explicitly engaged in this attempt to create art that expressed the realities of Black life, while also leaving room for certain kinds of artistic experimentation that was not, in his estimation, framed and or undergirded by race and racial identity. It is unsurprising that many prominent figures of the Black Power movement thought Hayden's artistic endeavor to be impossible. He was accused of betraying the race, which I am sure was an emotionally and professionally difficult circumstance to navigate. There is a through line in Hayden's poetry. from the diver to the return to the middle passage to those winter Sundays, that conveys a sense of being, a sense of existing that exceeds the desire to be perceived as a mere human. But Hayden's poetry thinks toward and in excess of the limitations of that category of the human, but it is also very much restricted by that category. And that is why I think that Stars is such an interesting poem to think about and to think with. Stars, I think, attempts this excess, this exorbitance that I'm speaking of. It forces our thought quite literally into another realm. And yet it simultaneously grounds us in history. In particular, the brutal history of transatlantic slavery, while making another simultaneous move that situates our abolitionist ancestor, Sojourner Truth, among the stars. Sojourner Truth comes walking barefoot out of slavery, ancestress, childless mother, following the stars, her mind a star. And we have to just stop and think about what relevance does an ex-slave woman have to a poem that is so clearly a meditation upon the celestial. And one possible answer is that Hayden is directing us toward the infinite possibilities of Black maternity. In this stanza, he calls Sojourner Truth a childless mother, speaking directly to the ways in which Black mothering was and has been and continues to be violently separated from those of us who are Black and have been excised first from gender and then, or better yet, simultaneously excised from mothering. And yet Hayden, through this poetic language of childless mothering, calls our attention to the ways that Black maternity has survived and expanded and continues to be possible. This stanza, in concert and in conversation with the other four stanzas, directs our gaze toward our Black maternal ancestors who exist with us and exist as us. This is the mystery of the stars. This is the mystery that is present in the poem. And Hayden brilliantly conflates these mysteries with the mysteries of Black life, with the mysteries of Black survival as one of the mysteries of the universe.